A couple weeks ago, I opened my phone and went on social media. Seeing Sly Cooper on my feed was a complete shock to say the least. However, after I read the post from PlayStation, my hopes quickly dashed away. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus was going to be purchasable for PS4 and PS5 is what the post has said. I didn't take into consideration why this was kind of a big deal. My perspective was that I had already owned the original game, bought it again through the PS3 collection, and recently purchased it once more on eBay since my original PS2 copy is looking kinda rough. Not to mention you can emulate it, so I kinda scoffed at a re-release. I had no reason to go out of my way to buy this game that's about the same age as me. After giving it some serious thought though, this is exactly what the community had been asking for. And not just the Sly Cooper fans, I mean the entire gaming community. This is one step closer to better game preservation. It's also good against pirating since the customer has no excuse of being able to access this game legally. A friend of mine bought the Jak and Daxter collection on the PS Store. That sounds like a normal statement, but I didn't mention they own a powerful PC. They could easily emulate it with a couple of Google searches for free. Instead, they bought it with their own money. It's a lot easier buying the game from the PS Store than trying to get a game to run on an emulator. Plus, it's healthier if you buy the game officially in the long run. I was a little ticked that Sly Cooper never got the same treatment as the other PS2 mascots have been getting in the past. Ratchet & Clank continues to be PlayStation's favorite sequel cow, while Jak and Daxter at least had re-releases on PS4 since 2017. Years of no Sly re-releases or interest from Sony. We even got baited with the Sly movie trailer that got downgraded to a TV show to just not existing at all. And here it was, a re-release. This was the moment I had been waiting for. Yes, for me, it's redundant to buy again, but I got what I wanted. A Sly game is now available to play on my PS5 after waiting 10 years for any Sly Cooper content. For those of you that want a quick rundown of this version of the game, I'll do that now. The PS5 version of the game runs on Sony's own PS2 emulator. This adds special features like having different save states and changing the color settings for visuals. It also includes a neat rewind feature. Now that might sound like cheating, but I can see it used as a way to learn the game better for speedruns. That and the fact people don't have time to restart a whole section of the game over one mishap. From what I've heard, the PS4 version isn't desirable as it speeds up the game and removes the rewind feature. I would test this out myself, however, my PS4 has had its own issues in the past, so it would be hard to tell if it's the game's fault or just my hardware. In order to access the rewind feature, you have to press the start button, or now called options button. Here you can rewind, access your save states, and tweak the settings. The settings allow you to change the visuals as well as alter your button layout to your liking. Having the start button pause the emulator would be problematic, except they added the game pause to the right side touchpad with the select being on the opposite. This is good since the PS4 and 5 controllers removed the select for a share button long ago. If we talk about the visual settings, I don't really care much for them, but visuals are mostly subjective. If you want to see them, then here they are. Personally, I kinda like the modern preset, but it only makes the colors darker. I left it at the default for this video as it looks best. Speaking of visuals though, I'm decently pleased with the aspect ratio. Unfortunately, you can't change it, but I'm very glad they didn't stretch it. Most people have big screens anyways, so it kinda balances itself out there. Although having different aspect ratio presets added wouldn't hurt either. From what I've seen, the screen is a little bigger than the original, but not stretched. Now of course if you emulate it on PC, you can easily get a 4K resolution. However, that also means you need a beefy PC to obtain such clarity, something I and many others cannot afford. Even if I did have a high-spec PC, I'd still choose the official Sly over computer emulation solely on the fact that it's pick up and play. Messing with the PCSX settings gets rather annoying, especially when switching discs or controller issues happen. It's safe to say that the PS5 version will be my new go-to every time. With that being said, I did run into a few audio and visual glitches, but nothing major. The only audio bug I encountered was the video cutscenes having a little hiccup.
Turns out he wasn't always that way. He grew up as the run of the litter.
I'll be fair and say that it could be my capture card's fault, but the artifacting I saw during some of the video cutscenes was not. This doesn't bother me as it doesn't affect the gameplay. I can't do a comparison for each version of the game since I got rid of my slide collection for the PS3. I'm not sure if anyone has had the same problem as me, but the collection had major issues that resulted in not even booting up for me. The disc looked fine visually, and I had taken great care of it, so I don't know what went wrong. Anyway, this new re-release adds even more trophies than the PS3 collection had. These are also separate from those older trophies as well as being more challenging than the previous ones. I do intend on completing these challenges for another plat to my collection. Now, I don't want to hype anyone up when I say this. Buying this game may result in the rest of the games being released and maybe, just maybe, a new Sly Cooper game. So of course I bought it on that merit. Companies like to gauge their audience by releasing older titles again to see if there's interest in it. Social media is very bloated in terms of perception. What I mean is that it may seem like a lot of people want something, but when it comes to shelling out the cash, it could turn out that product isn't as popular as it once seemed. If you're waiting on the next Sly game, you're not going to get it if you don't buy this game. This is why you should buy Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. It was well worth the money in my opinion, and it gets me wanting 2 and 3 on PS5 as well. Here's to hoping for more Sly content and good game preservation in the future.